Good morning, lads. I've finally updated to 1.19. I'm not in 1.19.1 quite yet because I'm going to wait for Optifine because my world is kind of congested and runs very poorly in the base version. Optifine helps my computer offload a lot of the load onto the GPU, which the regular version just doesn't allow. Or doesn't have that, not doesn't allow, it just doesn't have the feature. That's a good word for it. So this video is just a to-do list because there's a lot to do in 1.19. Let's just jump right into it, starting with items to collect. And by items, I actually mean blocks and items. I'll distinguish them as two separate things. And because of 1.19, I've decided to reorganize all of this, and I'm going to have it in sections based off of updates. So if a particular block came out in a certain update, that's where it's going to be grouped with. For example, grass, one of the first things to come out in the game. And then, so the downside is I won't have all like the dirts grouped next to each other, I won't have all the woods grouped next to each other. But it will be kind of cool to walk through the ages, starting with the release of Minecraft, walking all the way up and down to the very end. So it won't be themed like it is now. It will be themed based off of the updates. Yeah, pretty simple. But for new blocks, we've got the frog lights, which come in pearlescent, verdant, and ochre. We've got all the mangrove things. We've got mangrove leaves, mangrove logs, mangrove planks, propagule, roots. And you've got mud, you've got bricks, you've got muddy roots, packed mud. And sadly, yes, I say sadly, you cannot move reinforced deep slate. I was so looking forward to the challenge of bringing just a reinforced deep slate block all the way here, because you have to keep in mind, I am currently thousands upon thousands of blocks away from spawn, and I've gone around at least 10,000 blocks in like every direction. So to get a reinforced deep slate block in my collection would have been amazing. It would have been a feat, probably a whole video just to itself. It would have been awesome. But as of now, it cannot be moved, so sadness. Also, all the skulk blocks, you've got the catalyst, the shrieker, the vein, all the things. And then for items, you got a bucket of tadpole. You've got a disc and disc fragment. Those intrigue me a lot. But what intrigues me more actually is the echo shard, because before looking at the wiki, I had not heard of an echo shard, but that's used to make a recovery compass. I love this concept. You die, you want to go find your stuff. So the recovery compass will help you find the stuff that you died with, or at least the lava pool that you can mourn next to, because I've done that a few times. Also, there's a new boat, obviously, with the new mangrove wood, all the wood variants like stairs, not ladders, that would be interesting, different colored ladders, stairs, half slabs, fences, fence gates, you get it, all the wood things. And yeah, that's all the items and stuff that I need to collect. The new creatures are going to be a big to-do because I need to collect them. The allay should be pretty easy. It's going to go over here with passive mobs, or at least these are mostly passive mobs. Like, I don't care if they attack me, if I attack them type of deal, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 so far. Also, I'm going to get goats, even though they didn't come out in 1.19. I need them for the new horns. And also the warden, and since it's always aggressive, it's going to go in the less than nice mob category. It's technically from this world, So it doesn't say belonged in the end section or pillager section. I guess maybe I put it right above endermite, because it's one of those weird found in stronghold type monsters. I think that would work. And then also all the frogs. So we've got the 3 different variants of frog: the temperate, warm, and cold frogs, which are orange, white, and green. So not only do I need to, I don't think I'm going to make 3 different stalls. So I need to capture them and say put each of the 3 types in a stall, but then I also need to gather a bunch of them for a farm. So then I can make the shroomlights, which I'll talk about in the farm section right now. There aren't a whole lot of new farms in this update, but there are still some very important ones. Like the one behind me is a old failed wither skeleton farm that actually works really well as a magma cube farm, which is super convenient because you need magma cubes to make shroomlights. Shroomlights? Frog lights. Haha, it is frog lights. So, frog lights. That is the number 1 thing on my farm to-do list. Is I'm going to convert this farm here into a magma cube frog powered farm. Simple. A couple other farms, a mangrove farm, obviously. Gonna get all the trees, all the tree bits, the roots. I'm not sure how I'm gonna work that out. You definitely can't grow these things in my current tree farm. We'll see how that ends up. That one's gonna be unique, and hopefully it's not gonna be manual. And then mud. That's gonna be a pretty simple one. I've seen a couple ideas floating around for just mud setups. It's kind of manual, kind of automatic. It's AFK-able type of thing. But a mud farm and a skulk farm. That one's also very interesting. I assume that you'd use like smooth or cobblestone generators with a mob farm with TNT duplicators. That sounds interesting and fun. Again, super simple, not a ton of farms added in this update, but still some useful ones. On to some build ideas. So when it comes to builds in Minecraft, one of the most important things to consider is scale. This is a 6x6 render distance. You can see the tower a little bit right there. You can't even see all the way to the floor. Let's go ahead and double it. You can almost see the edge of my mega base, but not quite. So let's go a little bigger. We'll double it again. We'll go to 24. So now we're starting to see quite a bit more. You can see the village. You can see my entire mega base all the way to the corners. And now you're looking at a pretty good size. Let's just go up to the max. 48 chunks, doubled again. This is going to take a second to load. As it finishes filling out, you can really see how big a world is. Oh, and how laggy it is when you try and render this many chunks. This would be absolutely unplayable, but we're just going for the view. Now you can see all the way to Ice Farm Mountain there to the right. So the world is big. What am I trying to get at? Was it worth all this lag? Probably not. But what I'm trying to get at is one of the build things that I want to do is a biome. In 1.19, mangrove trees were added, and I want to make a whole swampy forest. It wouldn't be the only tree in there, but just was just thinking about all the potential that the new roots and everything has, and I think it could make a really epic custom biome. I would want to make my own version of all the current Minecraft biomes, but making a biome is a big project, like seriously big, and there's not enough space near my base to make a unique biome, a custom biome for all the existing. So I would have to find space for such a project. But that would be one of the things on the list. A mangrove forest. Thank you, 1.19. Oh, and here you can see a list of how far you can see. So at 2 render distance, you can see 32 meters, each meter is a block. 8 is 128. 16 is 256. 32 is 512. 48 is 768. Never actually got that loaded. Needs 2 gigs allocated just to that. And then 64 is hilarious at 1024 meters. Needs 3 gigs of RAM allocated just to that. Absolutely crazy. But we like to park ourselves around that 24 to 30 range, where my game can still run. If I'm in a new area that I haven't built in, then I could play on 32, but not in my base, because my base is laggy. Back to a reasonable frame rate. Render distance. A couple of the other build ideas would be to fix up a ancient city. So I already think the structure is pretty cool and the monument in the middle is quite epic. So I just want to spruce it up a bit. Like if there's any damage, repair it, light the place up, add some personal touch and flavor to it. You know, the important things. A frog habitat is something else I'd want to build, just an area for frogs to thrive in. That might end up going on one of these arms next to the tree. I think that would be pretty cool and fit like the natural theme. Another thing that I'd want to do is build a fleet. So with the boat, the chest in the boats, those would actually look really cool in a harbor. So building like a harbor with a fleet. I don't know if I'd want to like put that here next to the bridge. That would kind of make sense. But lots of pretty big ideas. These will take many, many months to accomplish because I've got other projects still on back order. But just builds that I'd want to do. And then finally, the to-do list. Things that I actually want to do with 1.19. Like explore. I want to go and find an ancient city. Shocker, I know. No one else has done this. And then when I find it, I want to try a couple things. Obviously, rating it's going to be a thing. Obviously. I also want to just try and fight a warden. Everyone says they're big and scary. They look big and scary, but I want to actually put that to the test and fight it. I'll fight it a few different ways. I've got all the armors in the game, so I might try them. I don't want my armors to break, because I put a lot of work into collecting all the armors in the game. So we'll see how I decide to do that later. Horns. I'm going to collect all the horns in the game, sort of like what I'm doing with the music discs. I'll just have a collection of all of them. Hope to see you in future episodes while I try and tackle these things. Thanks for listening to my boring list of all the things. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them for what you would want to do or want to see me do in 1.19 with some of the new features, some of the new mobs, or maybe it's old features that I just haven't explored yet in their glory. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, like, subscribe, and all the other YouTube things. See ya.